Hello, everybody. Nice to be with you again today. Tuesday, May the 5th, 2020. Now we're in the first full week of May, and we continue on in the process that we've been living and dealing with the issues that we have being apart, dealing with social distancing. And now this week begins kind of the opening of some things. And so we hope and pray that we don't see an increase in cases. We don't see a spike. I would encourage you still to stay at home as much as possible. Stay away from crowds. We all have essential things that we have to buy, but there's no point in being risky or taking chances that we don't need to take. So it's great to be part of your daily routine here on this first Tuesday in May. A couple of things, for you. For those of you who don't know, I'm Pastor Timothy Muse, St. Paul's Lutheran Church here in Alliance. And I just want to let you know that newsletters are going out. Newsletters will be available this week, both for St. Paul's and for St. John's. So newsletters will be out. So information will be shared and brought forward a little later than we usually do. We were waiting to see what Governor DeWine had to say and how we were going to be able to incorporate that. So we'll keep posted. We'll keep moving forward. We'll keep trying and doing the best we can to bring the word of God in the midst of everything taking place. So, one of the things that, as I've been listening and seeing, and one of the things that certainly is true, in life, we have two different lists. We have two different lists. We have the list of things we need and the list of things that we want. Our needs are the things that are basic: food, shelter, water, air, love, connection, basic resources. Those are the things that we need: clothing, transportation, protection, safety. And then there's the list of things that we want in life. We need a car. We want a new Buick or a new Cadillac or a new truck. Okay. We need food. We want filet or fresh sea bass. Okay. So we function out of these two lists: our list of needs and our list of wants. And we are very blessed. We are very fortunate in our world today because we have access to resources. We have access to things that really we may not have had access to even, growing up. I mean, I'm not that old, but I remember growing up that we had one television in our home. That was the long and the short of it. And that's not the case even in our home, in my home anymore. We are so blessed to have access to so many things, to have access to so many resources. It is truly an incredible time to be alive. But it also creates a struggle. And that struggle is that our list of needs and our list of wants become intertwined in a way that usually we're in pretty good shape. Usually it's not a struggle. Usually it's not an issue. But in times like this, it is. In times like this, it is a struggle, an issue, because our needs are being met, or we're striving to meet them, but our wants are not being fulfilled. And it's when the want category is not being fulfilled, that's when we start to have unsettling thoughts. We get bored, we get anxious, maybe feeling a bit depressed. Now, this is not for those who have that in their portfolio: anxiety, depression. There are those who have that in their portfolio and they manage it a different way. I'm talking about for those who don't have that in their portfolio, but right now maybe feeling it. Maybe there is some anxiety or some depression or some worry or some listlessness, wandering. And a lot of that comes because our wants are not being fulfilled. We need to eat, but we want to eat this. We need to be protected. We need to be safe. We need to be clothed, but we want to have this kind of clothing or this kind of entertainment. We need to be informed, but we want information that speaks to us. And this is really where that struggle kind of, those two lists, when they become intertwined, that's when we start to struggle, because we get confused between a need and a want. We get confused with between what we need in our life and what we want in our life. And when that confusion starts to come in, that's when it causes us to feel panic, anxiety. That's when we struggle. That's when we struggle. You know, when I work with people in their process of trying to put their life together and move forward, that's one of the primary things that they have to do, is put a list together between lists and of needs and wants. What do you need and what do you want? Because then we need to make sure that our list of needs are fulfilled first. Once our list of needs are fulfilled, then we can start talking about our list of wants. When our list of needs aren't being fulfilled, then yes, that causes a deep unsettling, a deep concern within us. Am I going to have enough food? Am I going to have enough water? Am I safe? Am I protected? Am I going to be able to breathe? Those are needs. Those have to be fulfilled, because if they're not fulfilled, then we really start to feel a deep internal struggle and panic. But it's when we start evaluating our list of wants, that's where we begin to have to really dialogue with ourselves. You know, I've been spending a lot of time thinking about the Israelites and the Exodus. I wrote about it for this upcoming messenger. You know, this idea of wandering in the wilderness to get to the promised land. And one of the things that comes out, you know, after the Israelites get out into the wilderness, there's no food, there's no water. They complain against Moses, they complain against God, and God sends them food. Quails in the evening, manna in the morning. And one of my most entertaining and ironic lines for me in the book of Exodus is when the people complain to Moses and they say there's no food and no water, and we hate this miserable food. So there's no food or it's miserable food. Which one is it? And that's where this need want thing comes in. They needed food, and God was providing that food. They just didn't like the food that God was providing. And so they were crying out against what they wanted, not what they needed. They were getting what they needed, but it was their want. They had lived in Egypt, and they had all of the cucumbers and flesh pots and all of the things that made life well. And when God had taken them away, when God had freed them, now they were eating manna. Their needs were being fulfilled, but their rebellion, their anxiety, their unsettledness was coming because it wasn't what they wanted in life. It wasn't what they wanted in the time. And they were so caught up in striving for what they wanted that they were missing that God was providing what they needed. You know, in this time of journeying, there's a lot of things that we're missing. And they're the things that we want. To go to a restaurant, to go to a pub. You know, we're looking now, it's May, so the end of May would be when swimming pools would be opening and summer activities and camps would be starting. Those are all awesome. But those are wants. Going to a swimming pool is a want, not a need. Bathing is a need. Now, if those needs aren't being met, then we have to have another conversation. But when we start looking at our list of wants, if those wants aren't being fulfilled, well, then we have to figure out how to live within that, knowing that our needs are being fulfilled. And here's the other thing that we work with. The other thing that we work with is that for our wants to be fulfilled, usually that requires someone else. It requires someone else to make a choice. Going to a restaurant, well, we can't go to a restaurant without cooks and servers. And so our wants are being fulfilled by someone else. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not being critical in any way, shape, or form, because I want to go to a restaurant too. I want to go back out into the world and engage. But I know that right now what needs to happen for me is to stay close and be safe. And I should want that for others. So as we're spending time here, and I go back into scriptures, I go back into the Psalms, and the psalmists cry out not for what they want, but what they need. They want. This is what they need. And as you're looking forward in this month, in this time, maybe this would be a good time, if you're feeling unsettled, to look at your list of wants and needs, to think about what you need and ask, are those needs being fulfilled? And if those needs are being fulfilled, then it's time to look at the uncomfortness around the wants. If your needs are not being fulfilled, then please, brothers and sisters, reach out to someone, reach out to me, reach out to someone around you, so we can help try to fulfill those needs as best as possible. Right now, it's a need thing. It's about fulfilling our needs and making sure that what we need is taken care of. What we want, that's going to come in time, but not yet. Let us not let our wants and our desires cause the unsettledness in this time, and maybe even cause us to do something that we shouldn't. Go out, engage in a way that is unsafe. We all have these two lists. For each of us, the lists are different. But it's important for us to make sure that we maintain those lists and look at them. When we look at God, when we go to God, when we pray to God, are we praying for our needs or our wants? Are we asking God to fulfill what we need or fulfill what we want? And those are important questions always when we go before God, particularly in this time. I'm working with catechism students right now with the Lord's Prayer. And that one line, thy will be done, thy will be done. What you desire, what you will, God, to be done on earth and in heaven, in my life and in our life. So looking at our lists, thinking about our lists, our need list and our want list, and what causes us uncomfort? What's causing us uncomfort right now? Is it from the need list or from the want list? If it's from the need list, then let's try to overcome that. If it's from the want list, let's try to keep that in perspective. Let's try to keep that in perspective so that we can all stay safe, so that we can all get on the other side of this, so that the cases can go down, the numbers can go down. Needs and wants, my friends, needs and wants. That's what we deal with every day. When you go to God with your list of needs and ask God to fulfill those first. Work on fulfilling your list of needs, then look at your list of wants and see if there's areas that can be fulfilled. My friends, may you have a blessed day. May God's peace reign in your life, even in this time. We are so blessed. Even as we struggle, we are so blessed. We are blessed with what we have and what is surrounding us. So hold on to those blessings. Hold on to those blessings and trust them, and trust the God who provides them. Because that God is presiding over all of this. God has not abandoned us. God is still here. We will get through this. We will get to the other side. May the Lord's peace be upon you today. May you be blessed in all that you do and face. And may you continue to strive to be healthy and safe. It's a blessing to be part of your day. And we will see each other again soon.